Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God, I'm slaying you. Power of the word, two-edged sword. MC Heaven rocks for her Lord. Thought they crept in unaware, didn't see the gatekeeper standing right there. Not getting down with your tactics, undoctrinal practice.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Barakatha. Welcome again to the Crystal Jones Show. It's the show that's all about life's balance, and I am your talk show host, Crystal Jones. Let me tell you how you can, watch the show. All right. We greet you in the name of Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya, Warawak Kwadash, and we thank you for tuning in. You can watch the show weekly from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Saturday on bronxnet.org. That's channels 951 and 2137 on your cable channels. Also, you can go to YouTube, subscribe, and like and share my videos. Also, you can check me out on Instagram at The Crystal Jones Show. You could write to me, The Crystal Jones Show at gmail.com. You could also see me on HebrewConnect.tv. Okay. So today we always have the scripture of the day. All right. And today's scripture is coming from the apocryphal book of the book of Jasher. That's the 56th chapter and the 3rd verse. You know, we've been doing the teaching on the struggle between Esau and Jacob. And through this, we've been going through the Black patriarchal history in the Bible. All right. So what we have here is the book of Jasher, 56th chapter and the 3rd verse. And it says, "And Jacob said unto Joseph and unto his sons, Behold, I die, and the God of your ancestors will visit you and bring you back to the land which the Lord sware to give unto you and unto your children after you. Now, therefore, when I am dead, bury me in the cave which is in Machpelah, in Hebron, in the land of Canaan, near my ancestors." Now, remember, Jacob is one of our patriarchs, one of our main patriarchs. We have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And remember, Abraham was a Chaldean. And if you go back and look at the pictures of those people who lived in Chaldea at the time, those were Black people. All right. Because remember, all of this is occurring on the continent of Africa, North Africa. Okay. Now, we bring it out to you what was hidden all this time because we were told differently, right? Especially when we arrived here in this country, in order to keep us subservient to them and to the different things that, you know, they were planning for this particular country here in America, to keep the people who were people of the Bible in darkness and not let them know who they were. They would tell us all kind of, you know, different things, and that we weren't the people, that we were the Gentiles and all of that. But when you go back and you read the scriptures and you check out who the people were back then, those are the same people that were scattered to all nations. If you read Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, it tells you that because of our ancestors not completely obeying the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord and following the people of the surrounding nations who did not serve our God, that's what got us in ships. As it said, I will send you in ships to a land, to places that you never knew. I will scatter you into all nations. We're the only people that fit those prophetic scriptures. Okay, so this is one of the lands where we got scattered to. Some of our people were already here, the tribe of Gad, which were the North American Indians and the other Indian tribes. Okay, so they were Gad is one of the 12 tribes. A lot of the Black Americans are from the tribe of Judah. All right, there are 12 tribes. There are different people from the different tribes. So when we go back into the Bible and we finally realize hey, these were our people originally, but they switched on us and changed the people. Okay. So we're here to just give you clarity on who we are and why we are a people that are oppressed so bad, because that curse that came on us followed us to all the nations that we were sent out into. Are we do we hate other nations of people? No. God, created all different nations of peoples, as I explained to you at the Tower of Babel, when the different nations wanted to build a tower up to heaven. That wasn't for anything good. It was because they wanted to serve idols in heaven. They wanted to, in other words, dethrone God, which is totally ridiculous, but this is what was going on. So the Lord sent down 70 angels to um, change the language, okay, because the original language was Hebrew. But then, in order to confuse the languages so that the people couldn't get away with what they were planning, he sent down 70 angels to separate the languages. So the languages that you see today were based off of those 70 languages. All right, just giving you a little background history of what's going on. All right, so um, and we're going back to the way that things were. We're now that we know our heritage and whatnot, we go back and celebrate the same feast that the Lord told us to celebrate, and we go back to our Shabbat, which is when we say Shabbat Shalom, that means peaceful Sabbath. We're going back to the Sabbaths that the Lord told us to observe. All right, so our Sabbaths start Friday night to Saturday evening. The Bible said the evening and the morning were the first day, right? So our Sabbath goes, you know, our days start from the evening before to the following evening. So our Sabbath starts Friday evening to Saturday evening. Okay, just giving again background history. All right, so now what we are going to you know encourage you to do is continue to stock up, because there's a lot going on with the trucks that are a lot of the trucks are going to be out of commission and things like that. From what we understand, a lot of the trucking companies are going out of business. Okay, several of the main ones are going out of business. So that's going to mean how is food going to get to us? So we have to wisen up, and we're going to have to go back to the way things were, doing our own farming, our own growing of our plants and stuff like that. I have some things, to share with you today. Um, these are just little things that you can do to start growing your own, the uh, what they call it, like butter lettuce or any lettuce. You can start, putting the stumps of them in water so that the roots grow, and then, putting them into your soil. That's what I've been doing, stuff like that, right? And in some cases, it'll grow from the plant itself. All right. Also, what I've been doing is anything that you eat, like I eat a lot of mango, right? So I put my mango, when I finish, I get the seed out of the mango, right? And then I put it in a wet napkin and let it sit for several days until the stem, as you can see, grows. So I have some of those out on my terrace, but now the ones that are out on the terrace, they have become actual plants. So it will grow into like a mango tree. All right. So basically, you really don't have to buy seeds, because everything that you eat has seed within itself, as the Bible says, right? So you can put those things in, a wet napkin, and then put it inside of like a plastic bag, like I do, and let the root of it grow, and then put it in your soil and let it start growing out, because we are going to have to go back to the beginning, how things were. I mean, if you look at what's going on, um, there's a lot of what could I say? Uh, Threats about um, nuclear warfare going on and things like that. So we don't know what we're going to have to do. So we're going to have to find ways of growing our own things, even if you don't have a yard. Because some people say, "Oh, I wish I had a yard." Well, if you don't have a yard, I grow my stuff right on the terrace, and I've been eating my stuff. I planted some tomatoes, and the tomato tree is growing. You know, my little tomato vine and stuff is growing. I had some green tomatoes the other day. Was very good. I sauteed it up with my scallions and everything like that. And it's kind of nice when you can eat the stuff that you've grown, because you know that you didn't put anything on it that can make you sick. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, things like that. You could grow stuff in your kitchen. I've done it. I've grown stuff, the basil and whatnot. I've been having my basil tea again. I love basil tea. It tastes so fresh. And I also put it in my sauces and things like that. Like sometimes I may saute a little what is it, ground turkey meat, you know, and put it on, you know, make like spaghetti. So I make it a part of my little basil sauce and whatnot and pour it on top of the spaghetti with the meat and everything. And it tastes very good. It's very fresh. So start with little things. Don't overwhelm yourself like, oh my gosh, you know, the corn also. There's a way that I did where the corn started growing within the cob itself. I'll, you know, as the weeks go by, I'll try to show you different things that I'm doing as well, so that it can encourage you. You know, if you have a terrace, you know, go out there on the terrace and grow. You can get those little makeshift stand up tables where you can put all the soil in it and whatnot, and put your things inside of that. And then when the weather gets like really cold, you could just bring the table inside, put it in your kitchen by the window, or, you know, different places in your house where you know, have a place where you can grow it. You can put it in the living room near, you know, the window and stuff like that, so to get sunlight. And when I've done that too, and still eating my own food. So let's get into the habit of doing that, so that when they start shutting things down, you're not scrambling and, oh my gosh, I only had a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But if you start now, little by little, stocking up, so that you at least have 3 to 6 months of food. I'm talking about grains, um, you know, the cereals that they have, you know, the you know, wheat cereals and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of different things that I'm going to be talking about in the weeks coming, because we're coming into the winter months. So you gotta get stuff. You don't know when they're going to have a famine. I mean, when they're going to have another shutdown, because they have been threatening that there will be another shutdown, because now they have all these different things out here, uh, you know, beside the COVID, the monkeypox, the this, the that, the other. Okay, and you need to have fresh food in stock, so that, you know, you can help yourself, your family, and others around you. You know, you all need to start growing things and get with your associations, your tenants association, things like that. Sometimes they're in touch with some of the farmers upstate that bring down food. Like in my community, sometimes they have a day where you could just pick up food from them, and, you know, take them, get the seeds, like I said, put them in the napkins and whatnot. Start growing your own oranges, uh your own tomatoes, your own what do you call, lemons, limes, all kind of things. You could start growing yourself, your fruits, your vegetables, and all of that kind of stuff, and stocking up on the things that they give you too, you know, the grains and all of those type of things, cereal, everything, so that should this place go on shutdown, you're not shut down where you have nothing. All right. So start stocking up. Don't be afraid. You know, we can do this together. All right. Okay. So now what we're going to go to is our missing youth. Okay. Let me say again, I've seen where I believe it's the Fox Soul channel is going to start having something on these missing youth, because Black females are missing in large numbers, being trafficked off. Also, you have the crazies out here that want to organ harvest their organs. So some of them are being killed, for their organs and things like that. So this is why I do feature our young people that are missing, because they don't do that on the news that much. Once in a while, you may see it, but a lot of our Black children and children of color are not put in, the news like the white children are. So I try to bring attention to it. And now I know that they're having a special show on it. And they're saying the same thing, that our young girls are missing in by numbers, because what predators do, they're going to prey on people that are vulnerable. And a lot of times our people, even though we still by far in large numbers have the greatest group of poor people, people that are, living in poverty. So they're easy prey for predators to come and try to kill them and sell their organs, or sell them off into the sex trade or whatever. So I think a lot of times people get mad when people say Black Lives Matter. That's not saying that you're a part of any organization, but you're saying that, hey, our people matter too. We live here in the United States, so we do matter too, and so does everybody else. Everybody else does, but we don't get the attention or any, like the other nations of people too. They'll bring people here from all these different countries and stuff, and put them in nice housing and stuff like that, while our people stay in the projects. That's ridiculous. So we have to bring attention, those of us that can. All right, so Alicia Tercy, she's the first one. She's been missing since July 23rd, 2022, from Amsterdam, New York. All right, she is 15 years old. She's a Hispanic female. Okay, her hair color is brown. Her eye color is brown. Her height is 5'2". She weighs 130 pounds. Okay, the Hispanic people are usually from the tribes of Ephraim and I believe Manasseh, because I believe Ephraim are the Puerto Ricans, the Black, the people of color that are Puerto Ricans. Manasseh, right? Ephraim is Puerto Rico. Manasseh are basically the people of color that are Cubans. All right, so these are people from the 12 tribes. They are missing. That's important. That's important, just like anybody else, right? So if you have any information on her, please don't hesitate to call. She's been missing since 7/23/22. Okay, she's from Amsterdam, New York. Call the police there at 1-518-842-1100. Also missingkids.org. All right, so if you have any information, let them know so that she can get found and brought back home to her family. All right, this next one we have is Aisha Rivera. All right, she's been missing since August the 14th from the Bronx, New York, right here in the Bronx. She has been missing, all right, since August the 14th of this year, 2022. That's not too long ago. That's a couple of days ago. She's 15 years old. She's a Hispanic female. Her hair color is brown. Her eye color is brown. She's 5'2". She weighs about 90 pounds. Okay. You can call the local police at 212-694-7781, which would be NYPD, and also missingkids.org. If you have any information, please let them know so that she also can be found and brought back to her family. All right. The next young lady that we have on, I'm telling you, it's women of color that are missing by the droves. Hope Kessler, she's missing since July the 24th of 2022. All right. She's missing from Pleasantville, New York. All right. She's 15 years old. She's a biracial female. Her hair color is light brown. Her eye color is brown. She's about 5'1". She weighs about 130 pounds. If you know anything about her whereabouts, call 914-769-1941. All right. So another person of color missing, right? All right. Also we have who's the other one that I have here? Nashila Jackson Irby. She is missing since July 16th of this year, 2022. All right. She's missing again from the Bronx, New York. That's the second person from the Bronx. She is 15 years old. She's a black female. Her hair color is brown. Her eye color is brown. Her height is 5'3". Her weight is 180 pounds. All right. So the number to call for her is 646-610-5000. You know anything about her whereabouts, please call or contact missingkids.org so that she too can be found and brought back home to her family. All right. So we appreciate you if you can, help out with finding these young people. They're lost. All right. Now, we're going to go to health and wellness, our health and wellness segment. All right. During the cooling season, start stacking up and stock up on your vitamins. Make sure you have enough of that because, like I said, we're going to go on another shutdown sooner or later. All right. Make sure you have enough vitamins. All right. Because the vitamins help when you're not eating enough of certain foods that you need in your diet. The vitamins are just an assistance. They're not there to do the job. So you need to be eating right, eating healthy, right? So stock up on those vitamins, okay? Also, for our business tips, do outdoor events. Have a vitamin event and let people know the vitamin is just meant to supplement, what you should be eating. Find out what vegetables and things like that you need to eat. For women, we definitely need iron in our diet because, we lose a lot every month, right? So we definitely need to be strong in iron. All right. Sometimes you may have to take an iron pill as a supplement, right? Just like when people are sick and stuff like that, they may take a medication, but the medication is not going to cure you. It's not. It has to do with you getting your body built up on the foods and things that you need to fight against whatever disease is trying to overtake your body. All right. So those are, my little tips and bits on health and wellness and business tips. All right. So we come to the credo. Shema Yasharala, Ahaya Alahaya Nawa, Ahaya Akkad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord our God, he is one. That's in Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter and the 4th verse. Okay, so now we're back to the two brothers, Esau and Jacob. All right, we know the story basically of them. They are twins, but one was promised a promised land by God, and the other one wasn't. But the other one will rule for a time because the one that was promised, his seed, did a backup on the Lord, on his laws and commandments. So when whenever you back up on the Lord, he's going to back up on you. But the promise is still to us. We have to get back in line and in place and forget about blaming this one or that one. True, a lot of people did help for our demise, but we have got to get back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of our God so that when Christ returns to the earth, and he ushers us back into the land that he gave us, which is Israel, he will rule as priest and king, and we will go out and bring the nations back to the Lord. All right. So that we're all together serving the Lord the way that we're supposed to. We have to get back to the basics. We have to get back to Genesis, what God, excuse me, created us for, right? Male and female, we're supposed to come together and, have families. We're supposed to have families so that, the earth, that we continue in the earth with children and, the next generation, we have to get back to those practices, right? So we know that with Esau and Jacob, here we have the struggle that's going on between them, one nation against another. So the Bible talks about Esau is the end of this world, the world as we know it, the world that wants everything right now. But Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the 12 tribes, we are Jacob. That's the godly priestly kingdom of people that will come and restore order to the earth. Because as you can see, this earth is out of order. Voting for this one or that one will never do it. It's not going to, because each person that gets in is going to basically do for just themselves or their people. They're going to go for their agenda. All right. God has an agenda for us all. But on the earth, when, you're putting different people in power, they have different motives. All right. And they're not going to really include you. They'll throw you a bone every now and then, or they'll throw whoever they're going to use next. They're going to throw them a bone, and those people will be tricked and think they're above everybody else, different nations of people. If you notice, they're moving these different nations of people around so that whoever they feel can help them will, do what they want them to do. And that's not God's way. So in the end, everybody will find out that, yeah, we all got played. All right. So it's time for us to come back to the basics of the Lord. It's very simple. It's very simple. God created heaven and earth and all that's in it for us. Then he created Adam, right? And out of Adam, he took his rib and made a woman so that she's his helpmeet. So she's not his stepping stool or nothing like that. She's his helpmeet. They're to work together to fulfill God's plan in the earth. Whatever God's plan is for that family, the man is supposed to have that vision, and the woman will help him carry that out from generation to generation. It's that simple. It really is. All this other nonsense going on, this race, hate that race, I hate them, that's a bunch of foolishness. You're wasting your time on that. And this is why we keep going through the same things over and over and over again. This nation trying to be above that nation, and then this nation trying to keep this nation down forever. This nation trying to enslave this nation and all of that kind of, it's a bunch of garbage. That's not God's plan. So me going down to vote for these people is not going to help it. It's not. They're, like I said, they'll throw you a bone every now and then, but in the end, they're not the answer. The Lord is. All right? Because he created all things. And when we get back to our senses and realize that he is God and it is he that have made us and not we ourselves. Okay? So I don't care how much you go into space and all of that. Seems like them keep going through that stratosphere like that is messing up the weather. All right? So all of that stuff is just man-made, is garbage. Everybody got played. Everybody needs to come back to the Lord. All right. That is that simple. So now we're going back to Jasher, the book of Jasher, the apocryphal book of Jasher. And Jacob, he lived, we're going back to when Jacob came to Egypt because his son Joseph had become a king in Egypt and he had saved the people from a famine. And it's funny that this is what we're going through now, right? So Jacob came down there to live where Joseph was in his old age. He had thought that Joseph was dead because his brothers had, betrayed him and sold him into Egyptian slavery. But the Lord brought him from the pit to the prince, from a pit to a prince, right? So now Joseph has sent for his father. Jacob comes there, and the family is able to be together again, right? So we go into Joshua, the 56th chapter. All right, and we see that Jacob was he died. He had an illness. He called for his son Joseph, and Joseph came to him from Egypt because they were there in Egypt. But Jacob and his other sons, they had lived in I believe it was Goshen. That's right there in Egypt, so that they could they were shepherds and stuff like that as well. They had their own cattle and all of that kind of stuff. They were very rich people, and they raised their cattle and stuff like that. So they needed the land for their cattle to eat and all of that kind of stuff, right? So Jacob told Joseph, and he called Joseph there and his other sons, and he said, I'm going to die. In the 3rd chapter, he said, the God of your ancestors, who's your ancestors? Abraham, Isaac, and now Jacob he's the ancestor as well, right? So he said, the God of your ancestors will visit you and bring you back to the land. What land? Israel, Canaan. Canaan was Israel. That land was promised to us when we left Egypt, because this here in America wasn't our first rodeo. We were in like 12 different slaveries. Okay. So when the Lord brought us out of Egypt, he promised us the land of Canaan. All right. So he said, the Lord will visit you and bring you back to the land which the Lord swore to give unto you and to your children after you. So it's promised to us. All right. Even though, there are people that dwell in it now, okay, that tie to other countries. All right. But as far as birthright, they're not birthright people in that land. There are some that are birthright people in that land, but most of the people that you will see there are not birthright people. They converted to what they would call, I guess, Judaism or whatever, at some point in time, because we lost the land finally after Vespasian and Titus ran us out of there, with their armies. All right. So there's going to come a time where Christ is going to return, and he's going to have to clear that place, and we have to go back into the land because we were the ones that were promised it. Because our job, again, is to bring the nations back to the love and the fear of the Lord. That's what we were made for. Okay, so that's what's going to happen in the future. And we probably have maybe 25 to 50 years before that really comes to fruition. So Jacob said to Joseph and his sons, I'm going to die. The God of your ancestors will visit you and bring you back to the land which the Lord swore to give unto you and to your children after you. Now, therefore, when I am dead, bury me in the cave which is in Machpelah, in Hebron, in the land of Canaan, near my ancestors. Like, bring me back to Israel. That's where I need to be buried, near my ancestors. And Jacob made his son swear to bury him in Machpelah in Hebron, and his son swore unto him. They said, okay, Dad, we're going to bring you from Goshen back to Machpelah over there in Canaan so that you can be buried with your ancestors, right? And okay, and I'm at the 5th verse, 56th chapter in the 5th verse. And he commanded them, saying, serve the Lord your God, for he who delivered your fathers will also deliver you from all trouble. So he's saying in the future, his sons are going to be in trouble. So, but he's saying to them, fear the Lord, meaning reverence him, do what he says, because when trouble comes, that's who you're going to have to look to, is the Lord, to bring you out, because you are going to be up against some things, right? And Jacob said, call all your children unto me. And all the children of Jacob's sons came and sat before him, and Jacob blessed them. And he said unto them, the Lord God of your fathers shall grant you 1,000 times as much and bless you. And may he give you the blessing of your father Abraham. And all the children of Jacob's sons went forth on that day after he had blessed them. So that was traditional for our people, that on their deathbed, they blessed us. So they would tell you, come and bring all your kids, because I'm going to give you the blessing before I leave. They knew that they were going to leave the earth. A lot of times they knew. So they put their blessing upon their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren. They prayed blessings upon them. This is the type of people that we are. And we have to get back to that. We got to get out of that listening to people telling us that we're these ghetto people and we don't do nothing but go around fighting and shooting and all of that. That's a bunch of garbage. That's something that was picked up here in this country. We don't do that. We're not that kind of, we're not those people. All right. So we have to get back to the fear of the Lord, the laws, the statutes, the commandments. Love your neighbor as yourself, but love God above all else. All right. So we have to get back to where we were, people. We cannot continue with this nonsense. All right. And us being stereotyped all the time, because they've gotten too many of our people to believe that they just belong in the ghetto. No, that's not where we didn't come from. That we came from greatness. We came from kings and queens. This nonsense here is something that was picked up here. We don't do all of that nonsense. No, let that stuff go. All right. Get around people that can help you to get back to where we need to be. All right. Now, and on the next day, Jacob again called for his sons, and they all assembled and came to him and sat before him. And Jacob on that day blessed his sons before his death. Each man did he bless according to his blessing. Behold, it is written in the book of the law of the Lord appertaining to Israel. The book of the law are the 5 books, right? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So he blessed them according to the law that appertains to us. It pertains to us. That's who we are. We're Israel. We are not African Americans or all these names they keep calling us. We are Hebrew Israelites. All right. That's what we were born. Hebrew Israelites. If your family is the Igbo people, like my family, Igbo means Hebrew. That means we came from Israel. We didn't come from Nigeria. We're there in Nigeria now because we had to scatter. God scattered us all over the world. All right. Igbo means Hebrew. You're a Hebrew. All right. We're Hebrew Israel. Like we're Hebrew. We're from Israel, from Jerusalem. All right. Even if the Yoruba people, same thing. You guys are Hebrew Israelites. Matter of fact, most of Nigeria is full of Hebrew Israelites. All right. So they wanted us to, that's when they started during the Renaissance period, wanting us to be these, what they so-called Christians, so that we could be subservient. Christian just means being Christ-like. We are supposed to be Christ-like. But when you read in the book of Acts, like I showed you, the first Christians said Niger. Niger means black. Those were the first Christians. Those were black people. Niger means black. When they got here to America, the white Southerners couldn't pronounce it, so they started calling us Niger. So you get so upset over them calling you that word. Really, they don't even realize how silly they sound calling you that, because they're really blessing you by calling you nigger. Nigger means black. All right. A black person. Of course I know I'm black. Okay. So don't get so upset, when you really read the how these different words came about. Some of those words are horrible, and it does make us think back in slavery when they used to call us that. But in the Bible, it says Niger. Niger meant black. We were black people back then in the Bible, though they were the first people, Paul, Peter, all of those people, those 12, those apostles and people, they were black people. They were from North Africa. All right. So get your head out the sand about that. You know, I know we used to see those movies with Charlton Heston and all of them with the 10 Commandments. No, those people did not. No, they were not. I'm telling you, read your Bible and you will understand. Even in the book of Revelation, it tells you what Christ looks like. Bronze, burnt bronze. That's black. All right. Even when it describes what God looks like. Okay. Isaiah. Okay. And their hair is woolly. It's woolly hair. We are the only people with woolly hair. Okay. So know who you are. All right. And we gotta get above their foolishness, their prejudice and stuff that they feel against, that they somehow feel against us and stuff like that. We gotta learn to live above it, because what they want to do is get us all emotional and crazy. And I know you didn't call me the N-word. Use those as teaching moments. Stop them in their tracks when they call you that. Stop them in their tracks. Do you mean this word? Oh, well, let me tell you what. Stop them. Shut them up with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but with love, because they too have been fooled to believe that we hate, that we are beneath them. So they've been tricked into thinking that. So every time you get them talking like crazy about you and stuff like that, explain to them when they say the word, do you know where that came from? Okay, because in the Bible, it's very profound to let you know that it meant black, and those were the first Christians. Let them know. Let them know. Shut them down. Shut them down. But do it with love, grace, understanding, and power. Okay, don't stop letting these people get you emotional over foolishness, right? Because what? All right. So now, okay, uh Jacob, the next day, Jacob again called for his sons. They all assembled and came to him and sat before him. And on that day, he blessed his sons before his death. Each man did he bless according to his blessing. Behold, it's written in the book of the law. And Jacob said unto Judah, okay, so Judah's the firstborn. All right. I know, my son, that thou art a mighty man for thy brethren. Reign over them, and thy sons shall reign over their sons forever. So Judah is to reign over his brethren. Christ came out of Judah. All right. Judah is represented as the lion. Judah is the one of the main leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Sometimes he serves as in law. A lot of us are in law and law enforcement, stuff like that. You see your family sometime in that area. Probably came because you are from that tribe. That's in us, law. All right. We were the ones that set the law and stuff like that for Israel, for our people. We made sure that the law went out. We were the judges of Israel. All right. So Judah, he's to reign over his people with the law. He's to, be the lawgiver. But sometimes he was in both areas, the law of the people and also the laws and statutes of the Lord. Sometimes he served as priest. All right. But basically, Judah is a lawgiver. All right. So thy sons shall reign over their sons forever. Now only teach thy sons the bow and all the weapons of war. Sometimes we've had to go to war. When people came against us, okay, there was no U.S. Army. Okay, it was the Israelites. We were the smallest in number of people, but we won a lot of wars when we trusted in the Lord and not trusted in man. So here, you have Jacob saying, teach thy sons the bow and all the weapons of war. Because sometimes we may have to go to war in order that they may fight the battles of their brother who will rule over his enemies, right? They may have to fight the battles of his brother who will rule over his enemies. We may have to come to each other's aid at time and fight battles, right? There's a time to pick up the sword, but there's a time to lay it down too. We shouldn't be wanting to hurt people, but there are times that you may, you may have, the Lord may lead you because you have to defend your own people. All right. You don't got to sit there, right? All right. But we're not focused on war, on trying to hurt people or anything like that. But know that in the Bible days, they went to war. They were people of God. They believed in the word of God. They believed in the 5 books of the law. But if you messed with Israel, they went to war with you. Okay. And God stood up for us. All right. When we obeyed him, that's when. So we've got to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, because this is a dark time, a very dark time. Sometimes they're accusing us of killing people when you have people putting on masks looking as though they're black and they're not. All right. We've seen that over and over again. They have masks that come down to their shoulders and all of that, and they look like a brown skinned black person or whatever, to try to, make us look bad. And not saying that we don't have people that do wrong, but we always seem like the ones that they're picking on. But God allows that because he's trying to tell us, wake up, get away from these people and their practices. Come back to me. Come back to serve me. I am the Lord thy God. Why do you think they don't want us to read the Bible? Why do you think they want us to believe everything that they say? That we should be subservient to them, because they know that as we tap back into the Lord is going to do miraculous things amongst us. He's going to give us power. And it's going to be power like we never had before, but we got to get close to him so we know when to use it and how to use it. Okay? Because when Christ returns, when he first returns, he's coming back to war. He got to knock some of these people he going to lay them out, and we're going to be on his side with him. All right? So we got to get now that, we're not to just be like the other nations, just wanting to kill people and, do things against people. No, that's not what God wants us to do. We should love. Yeah, we love our enemies, but we're not going to let them do us in. No. All right. So, like he told Judah, what he was going to do. So he said, only teach thy sons about the bow and the weapons. And Jacob again commanded his sons on that day, saying, behold, I shall be this day gathered unto my people. Carry me up from Egypt. He's reminding them again, don't leave me in this land. This is not our land. And bury me in the cave of Machpelah as I commanded you. Put me back where my peoples are. All right. Howbeit, take heed, I pray you, that none of your sons carry me. In other words, I don't want my grandkids carrying me. Only my sons, the 12 tribes. I want you all carrying me to the gravesite that I told you of. All right. That's where that's how I want it played out. You're the pallbearers. Take me back to where my people are. All right. So, he said, carry me up from Egypt back to Machpelah as I commanded you. Howbeit, take heed, I pray you, that none of your sons carry me, only yourselves. And this is the manner you shall do unto me. When you carry my body, to go with it to the land of Canaan to bury me. He said, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, they shall carry my bier. In other words, those 3, I want to carry my casket, right? All right, at the eastern side. All right, we know Judah is basically the Negroes. Issachar is the Mexicans, and Zebulun who's Zebulun? I think like Panama and those, people of color, like, in those areas. right? He wants them to carry his casket at the eastern side. Reuben, Simeon, and Gad. Okay, Simeon, we know, is the Dominicans. Gad is who's Gad? Gad is the North American Indians. Reuben, I think, is, what is it, Panama, something like that. Okay, at the south. All right. Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin. Ephraim, Puerto Ricans of color. Manasseh is the Cubans. Benjamin are the West Indians. All right. He wants them at the west. All right. Dan, Asher, and Naphtali. Okay. Dan, remember, he forfeited eventually, so he's not in the book of Revelation. Who took his place was Joseph's sons. Joseph's sons would be Joseph's portion, because both Joseph had two portions, because he was separated when his brethren sold him into slavery. All right. So his sons took the place of Dan, okay, and Joseph, when the 12 tribes are mentioned in the book of Revelation. All right. Okay. And Asher and Naphtali are at the north. All right. Let not Levi carry with you, for he and his sons will carry the ark of the covenant. All right. Levi were the priests. They carried the ark of the covenant. Go back and see my videos on the ark of the covenant, what that represented. Okay. What was inside of that ark, and what's going to be inside of that ark, we are going to see when we go into the wilderness. It has clean energy, that pure energy. That was that energy that when the sea parted, for us and stuff like that, the miraculous things that happened, a lot of things came, through that clear energy that kept us while we were there in the wilderness. It kept a lot of diseases and things like that away, because look at all of the things that these people are creating, these scientists and stuff like that, trying to be God, right? Those things make people sick, some of those things that they're creating and whatnot, and trying to consistently get these things. They're getting too many things in people's system, and people are already taking medication and stuff like that. That stuff can end your life, right? So God has pure energy inside of that ark, all right, which will come out as we're going when we're in the wilderness on our journey back home. All right, because we ain't gonna be here forever. Like I said, we may have 25 to 50 years left, if that. All right. So you see that when they start this nuclear stuff, that's a lot of people gonna get killed, a lot of people gonna die, all of that kind of stuff. All the things that they're bringing right now are gonna kill many people. Many are gonna die from that, and the diseases and all of that kind of stuff. So, okay. So when it comes time that it gets so bad that we have to go into the wilderness, the angels will lead us, and that ark of the covenant is going to be found, and it's going to, that clear energy is going to come out. All right. So he's telling them how to carry his body and all of that during the processional of the funeral, right? He's telling his sons how he wants to be carried out. He said, don't let Levi carry with you, for he and his sons will carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord with the Israelites in the camp, the rest of the people. Neither let Joseph, my son, carry. He doesn't even want Joseph to carry, for as a king, so let his glory be. So in other words, Joseph is not allowed to carry his father's casket, because he's a king and he wants him to be arrayed in his royalty, right? Ephraim and Manasseh shall be in their stead. So his two sons are to go with the processional in Joseph's place, because he's honoring his son even in his death, right? So thus shall you do unto me when you carry me away. Do not neglect anything of all that I commanded you. And it shall come to pass when you do this unto me, that the Lord will remember you favorably and your children after you forever. So if you go along with this processional, how I want to be laid to rest, God is going to bless you and the generations after you forever. So some of the blessings that we get today are coming from our forefather Jacob, how he blessed his children, because we're one of the 12 tribes. All right. And even the Gentiles are blessed through us, because why? They're not all of them hate us. Not every Gentile hates us. Not every white person hates us. Not every Indian person hates us. Not everybody from any other nation hates us. There's a large majority of people that hate us, but not everybody. All right. So, we're to pray for them, and do good to them. And they do good. There are people of other nations that do good to us too. Like, come on, y'all. Everybody ain't crazy, right? So, he told him, and you, my sons, honor each his brother and his relative. So Jacob is telling him, honor your brother and your relative, and command your children and your children's children after you to serve the Lord God of your ancestors all the days. He's telling them again, the second time, remember to serve the Lord for your entire life. Don't turn from it, because that's what got us here in this country, neglected, rejected. If you notice, I was reading recently how when the Japanese got money and all of that kind of stuff, they honor everybody but us, right? Okay, because our ancestors didn't obey, but we still have blessings that are following us, and the Lord will take that curse off of us eventually, and we're coming out of it. And eventually, when we go into the wilderness, we follow under the Lord. He's going to put the rod over us, and those of us who don't really want to serve him, the Lord is going to deal with them. So we want to be in the elect that make it. We want to be amongst those that make it, because remember, even in the wilderness when we came out of Egypt, a lot of our people were lost. All right, so God keep you, God bless you is my prayer. Signing off, Kwam Yasharala Kwam. Okay. Watch the show every Saturday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. BronxNet.org, channel 951 2137, the Inspired channel. Also, check me out on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share my videos. All right. Check me out on Instagram, for daily word. All right. Write me at the Crystal Jones Show at gmail.com, HebrewConnect.tv. You can check me out. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. All right. And remember, you and you stay balanced. Kwam Yasharala. Kwam.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
to get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
And discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God, I'm slaying you. Power of the word, two-edged sword. MC Heaven rocks for her Lord. Thought they crept in unaware, didn't see the gatekeeper standing right there. Not getting down with your tactics, undoctrinal practice.